Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Big Blue Dream 97 here to talk to you about the latest chapter of My Hero Academia, manga chapter 241, titled Answer the Interview Questions. And yes, as of right now, we are no longer in the My Villain Academia. We are in My Hero once again, and we get to see the heroes for the first time in oh goodness, 4 months, I would say. Because it has been a while since we've seen any semblance of Deku, Oraka, Ida, the whole 1A cast. It's been a while, and it even is explained within the story how long it has been since the last time we've seen them. But let's just say that when it comes to this chapter, the first scenes of this chapter basically sets up what the entirety of this chapter will be about. And even the title basically sets up, it's just going to be interviews, but not just interviews. Basically, what they learn in this chapter is kind of associated with their hero course, and it's basically how to conduct themselves in an interview. And what establishes this so well in the beginning is that you have both Bakugo and Shoto, who are being interviewed on the couch in their dorms about the fact that they, within the first 30 minutes of them getting their provisional licenses, they already acted as heroes when they defeated those group of villains in the street. So they're basically being interviewed, and this basically shows how when it comes to these interviews, you can't just go basically when it comes to these interviews between Shoto and Todoroki, basically the world gets a better understanding of who Shoto is, Todoroki, and who Bakugo is as people, because Shoto is yeah, we get along very well, and Bakugo's what are you talking about, idiot? Are you blind or something? So Bakugo is being Bakugo, we're just wailing on Todoroki, and Todoroki is just being positive. It's oh yeah, we work together well, and Bakugo is are you daft? So yeah, so it's an amazing setup scene, especially where in the final panel of this page, you see basically you see Deku, you see Ida, and you see El Chaco just with shocked expressions, because it's among the two people in this class who could be interviewing, you chose the hot-headed Bakugo and the awkward Shoto, and there's just a back and forth between the two. But as that scene comes up, we get basically the cover page of this chapter, which is basically having Deku with his hand put the hero back in My Hero, and then you just have Bakugo with his hand just holding the villain, and it's he has this serious face he's about to chuck it, and then you just have Shoto just in the scene, because for the most part they are the three strongest characters in the show, should I say in the manga, when it comes to 1A. So it does make sense for why they would be in this scene together. But it's just funny that Deku has a role in it, Bakugo has a role in it, replacing the hero and taking out the villain, and then you just have Todoroki in the background just having Todoroki way. And then immediately there's hard cut to Bakugo screaming as usual, but this time he's screaming because they cut out all of his parts in the interview, which makes sense, because if you have someone who's continuously says bastard a lot and uses profanity, then yeah, they're obviously going to be cut. And you just see Denki, and then you see tape guy, oh gosh, I forgot his name, with Ashido in the background, just basically Denki is just laughing at the fact that they cut out all of his footage, and you have Uraraka and Fropp just in the background, basically with expressions of well, I guess they're covering for him. And then obviously Bakugo gets mad, and there's just a lot more interactions between the heroes in class 1A, and then all of a sudden there's a cut to basically Deku on his phone listening to a news report, and how they're basically talking about like the incident that happened in Kamina, which he gives like kind of a reference for where we are now. We're in December, so basically it's still the beginning of their, if I remember correctly, their second semester, I believe. But it's approaching winter break, so it's almost the end of their second semester. So 2 whole semesters have gone by. And within this entire span, you've had Deku unlock multiple new potential abilities, making up with Bakugo, the retirement of All Might, the destruction of 2 cities, and the creation of the new Liberation Villain Army, which there's something in this chapter that I want to bring up a little bit later, but it involves a certain character. It involves a certain character who may or may not be the traitor, and this is just a tiny bit more proof on this person being the traitor. But yeah, basically the news reports goes on, and they're just talking about like the heroes and how it's like, oh wait, this is great, the heroes are becoming more heroes. But then there's a comment that is made, is like, oh no, they're not, you think in this situation that they are putting, like, they shouldn't be like putting heroes down, but no, they're putting us up, but it's not for goodness sake. They're not doing it because it's the right thing to do. They're doing it because they're scared, because they're praying basically that the heroes will continue to protect the city. And so they basically go and ask the citizens, and like the citizens are very decisive. Some are like, yeah, we'll support the heroes everywhere, and then some are like, oh well, I don't really know. And there's even more that's like I was like, oh, we don't really blame them, even though they probably should. Long story short, like, the reason why the heroes right now aren't getting as much flack is because the people are afraid, and that they're basically promoting a false hope on the heroes, because if the heroes fall, then everything is doomed. So it's basically like their last ditch effort. And what's even funny is that they even make reference to the Can't You See Boy, which is a meme in My Hero Academia, and like it has gotten to the point at which like there's like an association with him, which is just like them just opening their eyes, because like he just has very like widened out eyes, and it's just funny. And then also you have a scene of Ashido and Orako. They're doing this, and then they're talking to Showtime. They're talking to oh my goodness, they're talking to Shoto about how, also the fact that how Endeavor is basically gathering up all like the top heroes together. And then Shoto, being Shoto, just has nothing to say about it. But then out of the blue, you just hear these words. Who could it be? Who could this voice be? These legs, these expressions on these boys' face, that butt. It is Mount Lady. And like what I enjoyed most about this scene is when they were showing off who this possibly is, they just have a butt shot. Why is this important? Because the first introduction of Mount Lady involves her kicking a hero, and the photographer is taking pictures of her butt saying money shot, money shot. So it makes a lot of sense that she would come back into this main story with a butt. But yeah, basically she comes in and she's talking about how basically the heroes and how they become tainted by show business, and that she's basically going to be like a teacher for him. And then you have Deku saying Mount Lady, and then what's even better is that you have Grape Boy Mineta screaming at the top of his lungs because he's like, oh my goodness, she's back, because he had to work under her and she treated him like a dog. It was very deserved, but treated him like just how he should have been. And then basically, and there's even an even funnier scene where basically Mineta calls her out on it. It's like, you're basically like one of those people who like want the fame and the fortune, and she just slaps his hand saying silence. And I'm like, yeah, Mineta, shut up, you hypocritical pervert. But yeah, but eventually Mount Lady, she gets into the scene. It's like, yeah, we're gonna do some media training. We're gonna basically like put y'all in situations where you're basically going to be like heroes in interviews. And then all of the kids get very excited, and immediately afterwards we just do a hard cut to the stage, and I don't know about this one scene. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with this scene. Nothing at all. There's just, you just have Kaminari. He's a very, very shonen looking boy. Like, I don't know why. I'm not sure if this is a Hirokoshi, like, if this is like him or like the translators, but like, you just have just best boy, like, just like smiling and just in a very, very cartoon fashion. Like, even for a manga, he's very cartoony right now. But after that, we start to cut to like an interview, and the first interviewer is obviously Shoto Todoroki, because he's gone through this before. And Mount Lady is just asking him questions, and Shoto is being Shoto, taking everything literally. But one of the best scenes that we've seen in this is that he's answering these questions and like talking about how putting people to ease is like what he wants. And then it leads on to like something about special attacks. Also, something very creepy that Mount Lady says is that, I'm not sure of how 100% it is, but she says, and I quote, "He's so cute, I want him." And I'm like, he's in high school. You are a hero. Now, relatively speaking, she's a younger hero, but still, like, she's an adult and he's a child, and that's kind of weird. Even in Japan, it's kind of weird. But besides that, we see we finally get a special move name for Shoto's main like ice wall, which in the translations have a very kick butt name called Heaven Piercing Ice Wall. And like, he goes on this explanation of like how it's like an attack, but it's also helped diffuse footing and all of this stuff. And like, I just look at it, I'm like, that is a cool name. Like, and like, they basically dive more into like the idea of like why they named their super moves, and it's basically like to give people hope, and basically to give people hope, and like give people like this idea of like these moves that they're here to protect them, that they are heroes. So that's basically what the moves are, and that's something that we learned previously, but it's great that it's established once again. And even when it comes to Invisible Girl, she even brings up another attack that Shoto has, which is basically a combination of ice and fire called Brilliant Scorching Fist, which you may be thinking, oh, I'm so sorry. You may be thinking like, why is this important? Because this is Endeavor's move, but how Shoto is going to use it is that he's going to incorporate his fire and his ice, because you know you have freezer burn and fire. Technically, they both can apply under Scorching Fist by providing a burning action. And even in the scene next to him, Shoto admits that he is not as strong as his father. Like, this is something that like he would have never admitted to beforehand, but he admits it now. And like, what's even great about like this interview is that we get to get more of like Shoto's like dry humor and like his personality, how he takes everything literally. And like Mount Lady talks about like, oh man, I wish you would smile more. I'm pretty sure you make these girls drop dead. And he just says, I can't do that. If I smile, then they're gonna die. It's just like, that's enough already about Lady. So it's like funny to hear that. And so now, and as I was saying, this is, I kind of like stepped my boundaries, but yeah, like I was saying, within the next scene, she has Mount Lady talking about like the reasons why we have super names is basically to instill hope to the people. So that's something that I already said before, and this kind of gets the people in 1A pumped up. So you just see images of like a lot of people. You see Ida, you see Yayorozu, you see Ochako, you see Kaminari, you see Dark Shadow with and then you see like everyone else basically like giving their all, and they're so excited, and like they're going through their interviews. And then we reach the one scene. We see Denki Kaminari, Kaminari, and he does this. Why is this important? No reason. Just the symbol of the Liberation Army. So yeah, if you didn't think that he was the traitor before, doing this, which it's still not exactly like the Liberation Army, but it's very similar. And it's even more apparent that Kaminari is the one that does this symbol because he is thought to be the traitor. So if anything, especially how he looks right now, is just putting more evidence in the fact that Denki Kaminari may be the traitor. Just with a simple L, which is the symbol of Liberation Army, which we saw is like kind of what it was like from the Villain Academia arc. Yeah, he may be the villain. But yeah. But they're talking about like how everyone has a great presence. And then we got Bakugo, who basically tells them, shut up and follow me. And like everyone is like, yo, I think he needs a little bit of help. Not Nine, but Aizawa, don't you think that you should probably help him? And he's like, basically like, no, he doesn't really need help. But the person that probably needs help is Deku. And this is important because, like, realistically speaking, like, Deku has done a lot of things. Like, he has done a lot of important things, but they've all been from the shadows. Like, taking down Stain, didn't get a review. Taking down Gentle, didn't get anything. Taking down the 7 Precepts, didn't get any coverage. He has done so many great things. Taking out Muscular, no one was there to see it. He has done so many things within the series, but the main thing is that he's never been asked to be an interview. Even at the, basically, like, even at the UA Games, yeah, he placed first place, but no one knew his powers. No one knew his power set. So this is like basically a way to have Deku grow to be more in the limelight, because if he wants to be the number 1 hero, he has to deal with like the popularity of doing so. But it's still Deku. He's still shy, and due to that shyness, he's not good with interviews. He just uses like very few words. It's like, oh, it's good, or it was good, and everyone's like, oh wow, like he's doing bad, and like even to the point of which like he becomes so stiff that Kirishima's like, oh my god, he has a hardening quirk now. He's hardening just like me. He's super hard. So like, and like it's just very funny just to see how like stiff he is when it comes to like this like situation that isn't even real. But as soon as like Mount Ladies talks about, oh yeah, aren't your super moves? Aren't you a good big admirer of All Might? And aren't you like using like super moves that are like him? And he's like, yes, still stiff. And then he goes basically to like a long-winded essay about like, oh yeah. When it comes to that, I'm not using exactly his because technically he doesn't have a move called Delaware Smash, but I've incorporated that into my own fighting style as well as my Air Force, calling and creating a move called Delaware Air Force Smash. And like and then my lady's like, wow, that was an essay. And it's like, it comes out so fast that something that you don't notice unless you look into it is that you can see the word bubble, like part of it is coming out of his mouth, because normally word bubbles like just out here and like a little tail end that's like never directly tailored to the mouth. But in this scene, it's directly coming out of his mouth to indicate like how fast he's going and how it's just all running through together. And then it comes to a stop when Mount Lady brings up the idea of like, oh, by the way, didn't your quirk like evolve? And Deku's just like, and then it immediately cuts to a scene where he's like holding his hand and is about to point at Mount Lady, and goes into like a long-winded explanation of like basically how he has the ability to access the power. He just has to unlock it and use it, and basically learn how to use it the same way he learned how to use All for One or One for All's initial power, like throughout his entire body. And like at this scene, you're thinking, is he gonna use it? Is he gonna use this attack? And he does. It's like but the problem is it's like a tiny black whip that comes out like yay far and then just dissipates, and Deku is just so proud of it. It's like, did you see it? Did you see it? Like, wasn't that cool? And it's like, what? And everyone is like, Mount Lady, Midnight is like, what was that? And Bakugo is just in the background. It's like, you're proud of that small thing? It's just like in the background, it's like in his head, you're like, damn you nerd, is probably what he is saying. But then we get to the final part of the chapter. This is a very long video. I didn't think this video was going to be this long, but there was just a lot to talk about. So we get to the end of the chapter, and basically it's a lot of exposition, but the main gist of it is that internships will start again. That is basically the gist of it. And it ties into like a few funny moments with online. It's like, oh, you haven't slept that much, have you? And it's like, oh no, I'm doing fine. And it's like, but what's funny is that you can't really tell that he has like bags under his eyes, because he has bags under his eyes. And then you just have the pencil basically, it's like, yeah, you need to rest. But yeah, basically internships are about to start again, which is important, because remember the last time that we had internships is during the 7 precepts arc. So we're about to get into some action, like, and we're gonna get like conflict, like if not physical conflict with the fact that Deku, who technically still works for the Night Eye Company under his internship possibly, has to deal with the fact that Night Eye is no longer a part of it, and that technically Lumineon is technically in charge of it, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong, but technically he's in charge of it. So either Deku has to deal with the fact that he has to work for Night Eye's company when Night Eye no longer exists. He has to either work under Lumineon, under this company banner, or what most likely is going to happen is that he may have to find another internship, which means that we'll probably get more character growth and development for him no matter where it is. But for me, I really hope that he just goes and works back with Night Eye's organization without him. So like it basically, so that he could like still be a part of that and adjust to the fact that, and like so that we can also recognize Eri and like all the struggles that she's going with, and that he will still be involved with this company because he has a connection with Night Eye. So yeah. So when it actually came to this chapter, even though there was a lot to talk about, I didn't really think that it was as comparison on the same level as the previous chapters. I think it's mainly because this chapter is more of like a buffer chapter between like the next story arc, which is fine, but that just means that there isn't that much that we really gleaned from it. We kind of got new information on the fact that Deku like is now capable of using Black Whip to a small extent, and he has to work on it in the same way as a Full Cowboy. But besides that, there's nothing really new. It was an interesting chapter. I enjoyed reading it. It just wasn't like on the same caliber. So if I were to give it a rating, I would actually probably give it a 3. Which for me, a 3 is average. I think this was an average chapter, but it was still enjoyable. So yeah, with out of the way, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Unfortunately, it is a little bit longer and a little bit later in the day, and by day I mean it's like 10 o'clock at night right now. But hopefully y'all still enjoyed this review of me. Hopefully you enjoyed giving my opinions and my thoughts and like what I thought of this chapter. Like I said, I thought it was a good chapter, but it wasn't something that would blow my mind out, but I still enjoyed the humor. I think the humor is probably the main thing that like puts it at like a 3 for me, because I found like a lot of scenes humorous. I found the scenes with like Mineta interactions with Mount Lady because like of previous chapter build up, and the fact that like Bakugo can't really communicate well. And by communicate well, I mean he just yells. So I thought that was a lot of interesting, and even like callbacks to like previous like chapters and how it all ties together. I think that was all good, but I think it only just makes it an average chapter for me. So like I said, hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully you can watch my next My Hero Academia video, as well as any other videos that I do on the channel. And I'll try to pump out content every Tuesday and Friday, so hopefully you can stick around. I may have to push this back to Sunday, but if I do, that means I'll just go off the official release, which is always a good thing. So I'll catch you guys later, and goodbye for now. Bye!